Austin Van Der Starren.
Honorable Mississauga City Councillors and City staff, good evening and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. My name is Austin Van Der Starren. I live at 1 here, Ontario. I have lived in Mississauga most of my life and I am proud to call our city home. I currently live in Port Credit where I was raised. While I was raised in the Lorne Park and Clarkson neighborhoods, I went to high school at Cawthorpe Park and I took classes at Humber College Lakeshore campus. One could say I know the Lakeshore corridor like the back of my hand. Though every day I wake up and I see signs of new growth and change. As a young man, I've learned to be excited about these new developments and the possibility of reaching new heights. However, I've also learned the prudence of consulting experts, heeding their advice, and continuing communication with them. The Provincial Government of Ontario has mandated intensification with a 2-to-1 live-work ratio. This is something my friends and I are very eagerly looking forward to. However, after having reviewed the plans for growth in our city and the history of the Lakeview Development Master Plan, as well as the official plan amendment, and after consulting experts, I find if I heed their advice, there are too many concerns for me to address as I stand before you today about the currently proposed amendments by the LCP Development Coalition. We are alarmed by the estimated 56,000 new residents expected to move in along the Lakeshore corridor and the estimated 16,500 jobs the new developments will provide. This concerns us because that is a massive skew from the provincial mandate of a 2-to-1 live-to-work ratio. Currently, we are looking at a 3.4-to-1 live-to-work ratio. This is 70% more residential intensification than mandated, or 11,500 jobs shy of what would be required to meet that. If we were to look at a more acceptable 3-to-1 live-work ratio, we are still 2,331 jobs shy of that number, which is a significant amount. I'm concerned that a once well-planned development, which welcomed and encouraged increased density, accounted for the required as well as available infrastructure, is going to be amended in favor of a more residential-driven development rather than mixed-use development as originally and officially planned. I worry that a residential-focused neighbourhood will not only discourage other residents of Mississauga from visiting our city's lakefront, but also not have the infrastructure required to support the increased traffic. The Lakeshore corridor, our city, needs to be a mixed-use development. The developers from LCP all have plenty of residential development experience, but very little, if any, experience with commercial development. Sasaki, the firm hired by LCP, has experience with developments where already existing and stable infrastructure exists and is able to support the community. The Lakeview area is not yet developed. The present infrastructure along the Lakeshore corridor barely supports the current use that is there. I have yet to see any specific answers or plans from the LCP as to how they will address these issues of infrastructure without a massive help from the city. I would also like to remind the Honourable Council and City that I am not opposed to increase in density. I merely implore you to continue to use the similar patience and planning that past city staff have worked hard to do in order to ensure our lakefront is accessible to everyone and protected for future generations to experience. This no longer looks like a mid-rise mixed-use development. It is far more akin to a high-rise residential-focused development. Honourable Council, City staff, and Mississauga residents, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you very much.